I do.
Well,
I would.
Well, sir, maybe I'll ask you this. Have you contacted the Auditor General to inquire into the particulars of the 186 conflicts of interest involving former Green Slush Fund board members identified in her report?
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Oh, yeah.
Hey gang, what's up? Just Aaron right here, Canadian Looney. So we have so many stars in these committee videos from the Conservative Party. Some of my favorites, Larry Brock, Kelly Block, Michael Barrett, Stephanie Cousy, Melissa Lantzman, Joss Raj Halan. There's a long Garnet Genu, Michael Cooper. There's a long list of big-time Conservative stars. And there's a list of villains too, like MP Iqra Khalid can take over one of these meetings, snap just like that. And you never know what you're going to get from a crazy NDP MP like Laurel Collins in these committee videos. Anyways, the word is out. We've revealed in the thumbnail, in the title, what this committee video investigation is going to be about. Let's take a look. It's always wild in these committee videos, guys. Let's check it out. Let's go.
Thank you very much. We'll open things up with Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper, you have the floor for 6 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the witnesses. Mr. von Finkenstein, your report in which you found Ms. Verscheren guilty of breaking the law by violating the Conflict of Interest Act merely scratches the surface of corruption and conflict at the Green Slush Fund. The Auditor General identified 186 conflicts of interest involving board members involving $330 million taxpayer dollars. When you appeared at the Industry Committee last month, you were asked by Mr. Perkins if you were going to initiate investigations into these many other conflicts of interest. You indicated that you had not. You further said as a rationale, quote, when they are no longer in office, what good does it serve to expose them, closed quote. And you just said in concluding your remarks that this is not part of your mandate. So I put it to you, why are you not taking steps to look into these other 186 conflicts of interest, which did involve potentially board members who were appointed by way of order in council?
Well, first of all, none of the order and council appointees is there any longer. Was in place at the time I made my final report. Secondly, as you know, my remit is basically conflict of interest, and all I can do is expose it. I cannot penalize people. I cannot ask for repayment of funds or anything like that. The allegations in the office of the Auditor General's report are indeed shocking and very numerous, etc. But they really do not concern what I am charged with, which is to expose conflicts of interest.
Well, Mr. von Finkenstein, I appreciate that, and you are right. Your mandate is to expose conflicts of interest. And you said, when you were pressed by Mr. Perkins at Industry Committee, that just because someone was a former board member or a former Order in Council appointee, that doesn't preclude you from initiating an investigation, correct? And so, while it is true that these are now former board members, when you talk about exposing, I would submit that that's all the more reason why I would think it would be appropriate for you to make queries about these 186 conflicts of interest, which you just said were shocking in terms of what was revealed in the Auditor General's report. I mean, to that end, what about accountability? What about transparency? What about shining a light on wrongdoing on the part of former board members? Again, $330 million taxpayer dollars.
I think the Auditor General has done exactly what you're asking for. She has exposed the workings, she has exposed conflicts, she has exposed issues where there's self-serving or log rolling, etc. It's quite a damning report. But if I now exercised my discretion, which it is, to launch an investigation against one of these people, for instance.
Well, sir,
what could I do?
Well, sir, maybe I'll ask you this. Have you contacted the Auditor General to inquire into the particulars of the 186 conflicts of interest involving former Green Slush Fund board members identified in her report?
Look, the Auditor General has a job. She has what she does, and she has access to all sorts of confidential information, which she guards, but then on that basis she makes her report.
Sure, but again, my time is limited, and I'm asking you, have you made any inquiries of the Auditor General to better understand the particulars of those conflicts, because they're not in any way, they're discussed in the Auditor General's report in broad terms, but not every conflict of interest is equal. Some may be more egregious than others, and where there was impropriety, there would seem to me to be an expectation that there is accountability, including calling out those who violated the Conflict of Interest Act, potentially blatantly, because there were 90 instances identified in the report in which board members did not recuse themselves, notwithstanding potentially having interests in companies in which money was funneled into those companies. So again, have you contacted the Auditor General?
If you were a member of the STDC, and your reputation by now would be damaged. You clearly were part of this whole organization and the behavior that was exposed by the Auditor General. My report.
So the answer, sir,
no,
with respect, the answer is no.
If you let me finish
if
you let me finish one sentence, I'll gladly answer, but I cannot answer you if you keep interrupting me. You asked me, and I'm pointing out the damage is done through the Auditor General. Now, you want to have an answer specifically as to what we contacted the Auditor General about. My colleague Michael will answer you.
Well, the simple answer is no, we don't communicate with other agents of Parliament to discuss operational matters.
Well, let me just say, with the greatest of respect, Mr. von Finkenstein, and I do have respect for you and the office that you hold, but I find it surprising and disappointing that you would simply say it's not within my purview. I have no interest in looking at this further to identify or get to the bottom of any of these further additional 186 conflicts of interest involving 330 million taxpayer dollars. It seems to me that 186 conflicts of interest involving that amount of money should have the full attention of the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Mr. von Finkenstein, if you have a response to that, I'll certainly allow it.
Well, a conflict of interest doesn't necessarily mean a conflict of interest under the Act, first of all. You'd have to go through each one of those to see. Secondly, as I pointed out, it's my discretion to launch an investigation or not. I launch it, and I think it has an effect and is needed. In this case, I'm of the view that the Auditor General has made a very lengthy report. It exposed all sorts of malfeasance by the corporations, its operations, etc. I think my making an investigation of any of the board members would merely basically substantiate what the Auditor General already said, and I don't think it is worth my time or the time of the use of public money. The fact is that all I can do is expose. I cannot penalize. I cannot recuperate.
Thank you, Mr. von Finkenstein.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what we really should think about what we just saw in that committee video. It's so hard to get answers. These conservatives are asking the right questions. We see it all the time. These liberals get in the way. The witnesses are never prepared. They don't have the right answers. I try to keep notes, but there's no sense. Let me know in the comments what I should think. My name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney, and this is another Wild Committee investigation video. There are so many of them under this Trudeau, NDP, Jagmeet, Liberal coalition government. It's a total farce. We need an election. That's it. There's no more to say about that. We just need an election. Hopefully we'll get one. My name's Aaron. Like, subscribe, share, get notified, all those fun things. Please leave a comment. Love the comments. Check your next video. Thank you for watching this one. Remember to get notified for the live shows. That's worth a look. our live shows, and getting involved in the chat room. It's a good experience. Come check it out. That's it. Learn about Canadian federal politics with Canadians similar to yourself. That's it. My name's Aaron, Canadian Looney. Catch you next video. Thanks for watching this one.